What's up, boss fam? Oh, we gotta make sure its connection's done. The connection's good. People will be showing up. I have a very unique experience I'd like to talk to you guys about that we are planning for. Oh, we never came up with a date. I'm here with a very unique individual. Ross has been an artist who I've been working with for approximately 5 years, and he is Ontario artist. He was Ontario born?
Quebec born.
Quebec born artist, educated in Ontario, a part of the Alberta Artists Association, which is one of Alberta's oldest art associations and, well, the best established. And also, he's a art appraiser. So I'm going to introduce you guys to Ross, who's, like I said, he's been working with me for 5 years. And this is a clip kind of describing what we're going to be doing. So I just want to go over some of this work that he has on his wall because we're inside his studio right now. So I'm inside a studio, and I'm going to show you guys Ross here in a moment. And if I'm not responding to your comments, you guys, this is just because we're using this as an intro to an event we're going to be doing in December, mid-December. We're thinking... Do you have a date that you could confirm, do you think? Or we didn't actually do that. I was thinking December 15th, mid-December, because it'll give us enough time to promote it. And so this is the studio. Do you think this is where we're going to be doing it? Or do you want to come to my house? Because this looks really comfortable and awesome. So we would be in this spot right here. And I'll be posing. And we're going to be running an event where Ross is going to draw me. And because he's been drawing me for many years already, and I think it's a great way to introduce people to who I am and what I do on the side. And thanks for the fantastic evening. Pamela, welcome. I'm just introducing you guys to Ross, the artist I'll be working with for our art event on December 15th, which I'm super nervous about, by the way. But I'm using this video as a way to introduce you to myself and Ross as the team, because we're going to be working together. So there's Ross. Ross, anything you want to say or any way you want to communicate with people? You can see them. They slowly trickle in and they slowly come in, and you can come in and say hi to them and maybe introduce yourself. And I know it's probably unique. Ross is probably not used to this.
Yeah, this is a whole new world for me. But Jacob convinces me that this is the way of the future, so we old fogies have to get with the times.
So what we'll be doing, so tell us a little bit about what you do.
What I do. For the last 20 years or so, I have spent my studio creative time working with the human figure. Prior to that, I briefly dealt with landscape, which is very boring and doesn't hold a lot of challenges, so I have been concentrating on the figure. I work in primarily drawing. Virtually everything I do is me in a studio with a model and trying to capture their essence, their spirit on paper or canvas or clay or on camera. So I produce large numbers of works, of which probably about 70% of them go into the shredder, because you got to be selective in terms of what you put out into the world. The challenge with working with the figure is there's really not a lot of leeway. When you're doing the landscape, if the tree isn't in the right place or the branch on the tree isn't in the right place, nobody's really going to notice. But if a part of the figure, if I put the arm even half an inch in the wrong place, it is immediately obvious to everybody because everybody knows where the arm is supposed to be. So it's a much more demanding subject than still life or landscape or abstract. Although when you're dealing with abstract is also, it requires a great deal of control, but the human figure is for me is the challenge, and it is always a challenge. If you are away from it for any length of time, your hand-eye coordination very quickly becomes rusty, and if I take a vacation and I'm not drawing for a week or 2 weeks, it usually takes me a week or 2 weeks to get back into the swing of things. Most of what I do is fairly direct, so therefore, if there is a mistake, it immediately you have to scrap that one and start again. So as I say, it's the biggest challenge for an artist to work with the figure, particularly when you're working with a live model, which is what I do, and which Jacob has been a important part of for the last. Has it only been 5 years?
It seems like, well, you've been doing it, for how long have you been doing it? Because I've been doing it only for 5 years, and Ross has been here since I started. He actually has been definitely my biggest influence and supporter.
We've been Harcourt House, which is where my studio is, an artist-run center in central Edmonton. We've been here for 30 years, so I don't have an exact date, but I'm guessing 25 years of working with models, live models on a regular basis in our studio here.
So, for the event, how long do you think we can go for, and how many sketches or finished pieces do you think you can create? So what could they expect? And not necessarily, I'm not sure if this is 100%, but this is the first time for us, you guys. So we're actually coming up with a way to do art and to do it live. So what kind of expectations do you have?
Well, first of all, I think we have to limit our expectations. As I said, I never know from the beginning whether or not the drawing is going to turn out.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Having worked with you for a length of time, I feel relatively comfortable in terms of being able to come up with some decent drawings. But as I say, I'm never quite sure. Length of time for a decent sort of finished drawing, generally, for me, probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes is sufficient time. The other big challenge for an artist is knowing when to stop. That I need to put one last stroke on that drawing can often be the thing that wrecks the whole thing, and you have to throw it out and start again. I don't know depends on how long the artist or the model wants to pose.
I was going to say, I was like, 20 minutes are not my favorite, but 20 minutes is better than the 25-minute poses. I think 25, and I'm thinking I could, if I had a choice, I'd love to have like 15-minute tops, but it's going to be up to the artist for sure. And I'm going to have to pose for those, so that's the next step. So how long do you think we'd want to go for, just to give them expectations? Is it going to be a 3-hour session like usual, or you want to make it more fun and more of a 60-minute or an hour and a half because there's going to be a behind-the-scenes moment where we actually stop and talk to them too. I can see that happening, kind of an intermission. But I also would love the idea while we're drawing, I'm getting drawn, that we also interact with the people as they show up and they watch you. So they might distract you a bit. What do you think about that? If you clue in and start watching the comments, or we read the comments out to you, would you be able to answer them?
If someone's asking me questions, sure.
Okay, because Ross is really intense. I've been working with him, like I said, for 5 years, and there's other moderators in these Artis Run Center who are less strict than Ross. Ross always kind of keeps a very tight shift. So I know that but I also know, like, they're asking questions like, have you drawn plus size models?
Yes.
So yeah, for sure, plus size models are, because they're curious usually for people who are drawing real life models. So plus size models are on the agenda here at Hardcore House sometimes. What's your favorite medium to use?
Most of what I do in terms of drawings are Conte. Conte is a clay-based drawing material. It's like a pastel, except instead of water or powder holding the color together, it's a clay base. I find it gives me a much more hard drawing line, and I can put colors over top of each other, and they don't get all messy. I also work in clay, which is also a really nice hands-on material, but is a much longer process. I think in terms of length of session, I do on occasion do an online figure drawing class based in London, England, and it runs for it's a 2-hour session with sort of a warm-up discussion and a break in the middle for talk. Generally speaking, I mean, there's not a lot of talking going on during a session, but if people, it would be difficult for me to be reading comments while I'm drawing. But if someone's I can deal with people talking to me while I'm drawing.
We have an assistant. There would be a possibility. I'm thinking about bringing an assistant to run the camera while I stand and then also, kind of communicate with us. Yeah. They're already slowly trickling in. So what do you guys think? So someone asked, do you use charcoal at all? There's questions like that. Thank you. I do poetry. Awesome, Pamela. So I was going to ask you, what's the charcoal?
I have used charcoal. Charcoal is much more easily damaged, much more messy. The Conte gives me the same feeling that I get and the same directness I get with that I would get with charcoal, but it doesn't smudge as much. It's much easier to keep the drawing in good shape. If with charcoal, you've got to be very careful. The slightest touch will smudge it, and in both cases, you cannot you can't go back and clean it up nearly as quickly as you can with Conte. You don't use an eraser for either of those media very much, because they tend to it tends to basically disrupt the surface of the paper. In terms of the question about the large size, plus size models, actually plus size models are a treat. They're very interesting to draw. When I started in art college, virtually all of this is a long time ago, virtually all of our models were retired char ladies from Toronto. And so they were all relatively largish ladies. And it's quite interesting. Much more interesting drawing a plus size model than a twiggy, skinny type model where there's really not a lot of volume, a lot of interesting form to work with. Male models are easier to work with if you're dealing with the anatomy, dealing with muscle. Again, plus size male models, interestingly enough, seem to be much harder to find. I guess guys are a little more self-conscious about being plus size, or at least showing it off. We have a few models that on the list that might meet that criteria, but we have a number of female models that would be considered plus size and make very good models.
Okay, so this has been an intro to Ross because it's tentative right now. I think December 15th. There's going to be a link. We'll discuss this after the show. Right now, I'm going to be saving this video and putting it on blast all over the place, letting people know about our event that we're going to be doing. Where I'm going to be posing for images like this in this studio here, and we're going to be broadcasting it, and we're going to be letting you guys know about how you can access those images and all that stuff. This has been interesting. Thank you, Stephanie. So it's kind of a new thing. I know you guys, I'm not sure if you guys were expecting this broadcast this afternoon, but I'm going to be doing this. Karen, all you guys who are here right now, I know it's quiet and kind of an unexpected broadcast, but I'm going to be using this as a way to introduce you guys to Eros and I will give you guys links. So Emma, I'll be creating links and making sure you guys over the next month, you guys are gonna be learning all about Eros, and I'll be creating a lot of space for you guys to learn more about what we're doing. I'll be talking about it over and over again, but I wanted a piece of content that contains Eros' story, so you guys know who I'm referring to, and that this is actually a go. It's kind of a nerve-wracking thing for me. This is very interesting. Listen, Pamela, it's going to be an event in December, and we're going to be getting as many people as possible to join us. And the prints and the actual original pieces are going to be for sale. So keep tuning into this. This is going to be coming out, and I'm going to be discussing this over the next few months. Don't be nervous. Thank you. Okay, so Stephanie, Pamela, all you guys who are here, I'm going to just finish up the meeting with Ross, and then I'm going to be discussing this over the next little bit. So if you just want to give them a good goodbye or hello.
Take care. Look forward to seeing you all again.
Woo! So it's new and it's kind of crazy, I know, and I can't wait to get us involved. Shannon, I will have this video posted. You guys, we will be watching this video over and over again, letting you guys know what's going on, and we might make another one. Bye.